Hello everyone, Sir Owen Disney here, and it is, well, if you're in the United States, it is Thanksgiving. So, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And for those of you that don't celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thursday! Sir Owen Disney here, and we're going to talk a little TNA Impact. But before I get started, I want to talk about my day. Now, as everyone knows, earlier today, I worked an 8 to 6, and it was excruciating. We were not busy at all. So, I got back, and I went to McDonald's just like I knew I was going to. And then, what did I do? I set up like this. I just propped my feet up and just chilled out. See, I'll show you. There you go. Propped my feet up, and I just chilled out. You know what I did? I fell right to sleep. So, yeah, I kind of just fell asleep in this chair because I was, like, exhausted from earlier today. It's like, it's been so boring, so that's the reason why. Fell asleep, woke up, and it was kind of like, okay, Impact starts in about an hour and a half, so I need to wake up a little bit. So I woke myself up, and here we are. So let's get this a little better for you guys. Hold on, there you go. Alright, so we're going to talk a little bit more about what's going on this weekend. Now, I did get my schedule, and it's very bizarre, to say the least. So tomorrow, I'm actually going to be working. Yeah, I'm working on a Friday. Very bizarre. That's the first bizarre of the entire weekend. Now, I have to work at 5. AJ is coming over tomorrow morning, and we are going to be filming a lot of videos. As a matter of fact, I want to break this down. I'm going to break out a calendar real quick to make sure I'm not losing my mind. So, we're going to be filming AJ's movie reviews of Frozen, Homefront, as well as The Book Thief. That's going to go out tomorrow. The brand new Versus, the first Oscar-themed Versus of December, is going to be going out on Sunday. Cryptic comment is Underdog. Excuse me. Now, on top of that, we have gotten our schedule planned for while I'm gone. So while I'm gone, you won't get actual, you'll get daily content. You won't get actual content from AJ live. No, I will actually have a couple of segments already ready to go. So on December 6th, which is this coming Friday, I will be showcasing another of AJ's movie reviews. This time we're going to be talking about 3 limited release movies. And then on the 8th, which is the final day of reunion, the cryptic comment for the Versus for that week is going to be $2 million. So $2 million will be our next Versus. And I think that will cover us. And then, of course, on the 13th, yes, Friday the 13th, we're going to be doing an AJ's movie reviews of 3 other limited release movies, as well as on the 15th, we are going to be doing a final Versus that has a cryptic comment to be announced, actually. So, I think the cryptic comment for the 3rd Oscar Versus is actually going to be Spotlight. I think that makes the most sense to me. So, you've got the 3 Versus, which are Underdog, $2 million, and Spotlight. You have 3 AJ's movie reviews, 1 of the movies we watched this week, and 2 the weeks after for limited release movies. So that's going to be taken care of. This Saturday, we're going to be putting up our November Oscar predictions. That's right, the Academy Awards Big 8 categories. We're going to be talking about our Oscar predictions. And I know AJ's changed a bit. Mine's changed quite a bit. So we're going to have that video coming out on Saturday. Now, also on Saturday, I have to work all day. Yeah, I got to work 11 to 11. It's very bizarre. Another bizarre occasion. But I guess it makes sense given the fact that I'm about to leave for almost 2 weeks. Actually, probably about 2 weeks, to be totally honest, because I'm taking the 4th through the 17th off. And I'll come back on at least the 18th, which means I come back for American Hustle, Anchorman 2, and on the 20th for Saving Mr. Banks. So, excuse me. That's what we got as of right now. Oh, I want to throw out another comment real quick before we get started on Impact, and that is this. I want to give thanks for a lot of things, some of which I sadly can't talk about on here, but I think anybody that knows me knows exactly what I'm talking about. Certain things I can't talk about on here. But I do want to give thanks for you guys, you loyal Pop viewers, for getting us to such a large number in such a short amount of time. We are 8 days over a year as a channel. And not Pop, obviously. Pop is May 1st. But this YouTube channel, the youtube.com/SirOwenDisney, it has been a channel since November 20th of last year. And as of this very moment, we are trying to hit another milestone, folks. We are at 155 subscribers, which I'd like a little bit more than that. So hopefully, if you like these videos and you're not already subscribed to Pop, then subscribe. Hit that button and subscribe to Pop. And if you want to like these videos, you're more than welcome to like these videos. But as of this very moment, we are 1,128 views away from 20,000 views. That's right. It's doable, folks, that before 2013 comes to a close, we will have over 20,000 views on Pop. And that is a tremendous milestone in such a short amount of time. So, of course, we go to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50, and hopefully by the end of 2014, we are looking at 100,000 views. That is my ultimate goal. The first ultimate goal was 100,000 views. I wish I could say it's 100,000 views on every video, but that's not going to happen. But spread the word, spread the word, spread the word, and hopefully something will come out of it. So, we'll see what happens. So, I will say that this is going to be my last TNA Impact review for a little bit. And no, unlike some, I'm not giving up on the company. I still see a reason why TNA should exist, and I do see the good in TNA, I do. I see the bad in TNA, and I'll talk about them. I took them to task last week. But I will say right now, we are not going to be able to do any more Impact reviews for December 5th, December 12th. I will return for TNA Impact on December 19th. On December 19th, TNA Impact reviews will return to Pop. The reason why is because obviously I'm not going to be reviewing wrestling while I'm home. So, number one, I don't have access to watch it live. Number two, I have a lot of things already planned anyway. And number three, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a break. So, there you go. And there's going to be daily Disney, Universal, SeaWorld content. One after another. So, that's a guaranteed. Video from Reunion. Video from the Candlelight Processional. Video from Ride-Throughs. From Universal. From Grinchmas. From the SeaWorld Christmas celebration. I'm going to hit everything I can. Like I said, I've got this iPod, I've got my iPhone, and I have my tablet. I point to the back because obviously my iPhone's behind me, my tablet's sitting on the chair behind me. So there you go. So let's talk Impact, shall we? So the show started off. This is our Thanksgiving show. And of course, when you do a Thanksgiving show, you obviously, with a theme show, you're going to get a little bit of comedy. So, I know this happens on SmackDown, and I was reading some of the spoilers on SmackDown. I was like, oh god, I have to recap this? Ugh. But hopefully I'll get some matches out of it that'll make it worth my while. So, Dixie comes out, and she basically says she has hired a chief of staff to help her maintain order. And she brings out her new chief of staff, Rockstar Spud, which is kind of cool because I like seeing Spud on television, and this actually will give him some TV time, which is something he definitely needs. He was working in OVW for a while, and of course TNA have just dissolved their partnership with OVW, so obviously you have to do something with the OVW talent, and this is the thing they did with Rockstar Spud. I don't have a problem with this. Spud thanks Dixie for the opportunity and says basically, she guided him through the British boot camp, which of course he won. And he says that everyone is on notice now because my eyes might as well be Dixie's eyes. And this is your warning. Taz make the comments like, so, he's a stooge. Yep, indeed he is. Now he's in the United States. Dixie Carter is now his queen. So, Dixie makes her second proclamation of the evening and says, via the Wheel of Dixie, we've announced our stipulations for the semifinals of the TNA World Title Tournament. Kurt Angle against Magnus in a last man standing match, which should be really good. And Bobby Roode and Jeff Hardy in a tables match, also should be pretty good. And apparently there's some sort of like motivational like building exercise that one of Dixie's family's many companies have decided to start using. So she's going to utilize it tonight. And they're going to bring something called Winner Winner, not chicken dinner, turkey dinner. So the winners of the matches tonight will get to be involved in a tremendous banquet feast before our very eyes. So she brings out Ethan Carter III, which is one of the first times she actually brought him out to the ring. And he says he flew his opponent in personally on his own dime. He said it's going to be his biggest challenge to date. He says that he thinks he's unbeatable. As a matter of fact, he is unbeatable because he's a Carter and the world needs him. Again, it's an okay opening. I didn't mind writing this recap as much as I usually do with this stuff with what's best for business in WWE, but that's because I'm extremely fed up with that storyline right now. I will say right now that I really like Rockstar Spud in this role. It's going to be interesting to see how he works on the mic with this, because you don't really get to see much of his mic work on British Boot Camp, but a little bit, but not quite. Interesting to see the fact that Rockstar Spud, whose gimmick is he's basically a punk rocker, is now wearing the suit and tie, so it's kind of interesting. So, Ethan Carter III picked his own opponent, and he'll be facing off against this person when we come back from commercial break. When we come back from commercial break, who's his opponent? He's hot, he's spicy, it's Christopher Daniels with a brunette wig. It's Curryman. So, yeah, Curryman makes his return to TNA, a long-awaited return to TNA. And Carter slams him, and then slams him face first into the canvas on multiple times. It's really funny. It's the little things, folks, because what he did, every time he would slam Curryman's face in the canvas, he would say, I, slam again, am, slam it in again, and rich. So he says, I am rich, slamming the head in the canvas. I thought that was a nice little touch. So he comes off the ropes, catches Curryman with a big back body drop, and pounds away at the back of the head. Whip in, charges in, clothesline, and a backdrop suplex from Ethan Carter III, whip in, and a kick to the chest from Curryman. There's a forearm and a drop kick, whip in reverse, charges in, and it misses, and he rings his bell, charges in with a hip attack. Curryman goes up top to try to finish off Ethan Carter III, gets caught, wrist dragged off the top, short arm clothesline, and the one percenter finishes off Curryman. Again, eventually this is going to lead to something. I love the Ethan Carter III gimmick. I really do. I love the theme song, honestly. I'm like, the theme song's awesome. But I will say right now that I really hope that eventually this leads to something big. Now, this could have led to something with North Furnham or Dewey Barnes, but I guess they're going to go a different route with them. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But eventually you're going to have to give some real competition to Ethan Carter III. And when that happens, then we're going to see what this guy's made of. And we know that he's made of greatness because I've watched his indie stuff, and I watched a lot of his AIW stuff, and I watched his stuff in NXT and SmackDown as Derek Bateman. So I'm really excited to see what they do with Ethan Carter III when this squashing of ham and eggers is all said and done. So it's really interesting to see the bromans in the back, their current reigning TNA World Tag Team Champions. And basically they make the introduction of Zema Ion is now their official DJ. So wrestlers need a DJ. I wasn't aware that one of the bromans changed his name to Randy! With 8 A's, of course. So that's just how it works. Yeah, shout out to Aziz Ansari. He's probably definitely not watching this video. But anyway, still makes sense in my head. So, Eric Young comes in, and of course, it's a TNA tradition that we have the Turkey Bowl. And the Turkey Bowl means the person who loses the match has to wear the turkey suit. And Alex Shelley has worn it before, and Rob Terry has worn it before, and even Jesse Goddard has worn it before. So obviously he knows what it's all about. Now, Eric Young has also worn it before, and that makes him the High Chancellor of the Turkey Bowl. So he comes in, and he's making a tag team match between the bromans taking on North Furnham and Dewey Barnes. So, that's going to be a little bit later in the show. Zima Ion with the bromance? Yeah, I'm in with that completely, especially if Zima can still go. I know he had some medical issues, and Zima's is a personal friend, so I would like to really see good things from him. I mean, we're not like send each other Christmas cards or anything like that, but I know Zima Ion personally, so the thing is, I really want to see them do something with him in TNA. If he's able to go, I would say just put him back in the mix for the X Division Championship, which I know goes to someone else very soon, but we'll talk about that later when we get to it, because obviously I don't want to talk about a title change or a supposed title change before it happens on television, kind of like how I do NXT. So, doing more with Nora Furnham and Dewey Barnes. I like this character. I like this gimmick. I think it works really well. So, kind of reminds me a lot of Dunn and Marcos, you know, the Ring Crew Express. So, I am now started calling Dewey Barnes and Nora Furnham the Merch Stand Express. That works for me. I don't know, TNA might call them members only or something like that because they were playing up their members only jackets. They're basically doing the Dunn and Marcos gimmick, got the 80s music and everything. It's really good. I like the direction they're going with this. Lady Tapa in ring next, taking on Velvet Sky. Velvet looking as gorgeous as ever. Lady Tapa, I've been trying to figure out who she reminds me of. And I got another one for you guys. Lady Tapa reminds me of Bull Nakano. It's got down to the robe she wears and somewhat to her hair and her style. I mean, Nakano is a lot stiffer, obviously, than Lady Tapa, but Tapa does come off pretty well. She's a striker, too, just like Nakano was. So this match was basically just, I can't really call it a squash, but it was kind of like, it was pretty much one-sided. A little bit higher elevation than a squash. Velvet comes off the ropes, and Gail pulls her leg. Referee Stifler spots it and sends Gail packing, so a shoulder block off the ropes, whip in, charges, and the running butt bump in the corner. Everyone's using that spot nowadays. The double goozle and a version of a shin breaker, or a chin breaker in this case. I'm reading my notes. It's all messy, sorry. And the chin breaker breaks the hold momentarily. She comes off the ropes, and Tapa plants Velvet with the kick of fear. Locks on the tongue and death grip, picks her up, and finishes her off with the TKO in 1, 2, 3. Really just, it was just kind of there. I've seen worse Divas matches. I've seen worse Knockouts matches. So it was kind of there. It wasn't offensive or anything. It was there. If you keep building Lady Tapa, obviously, eventually you're going to have to build up to the fact that she is, like, railroading, like, through every single one of her competitors. Obviously, this is going to lead to her and Gail Kim somewhere down the line. Eventually, that will happen, and that'll be money. By that time, Lady Tapa will be that over, so there you go. Maybe the crowd will start getting on her side, because they're not really there with her yet. So, we get the bromans against Dewey and Norv, the Merch Stand Express, and right away, Norv and Dewey just roll up Jesse and Robbie E, and they're like, this ain't gonna happen. So Dewey gets tossed halfway across the ring and through the ropes to the floor. And they hit the bro down on, on Nora Furnham, and that's the end. So they put the turkey suits on him. Eric Young and ODB get in the ring, and there's like a hoedown, and that's the end of it. Interesting segment. Not great, but enjoyable because of Eric Young, because Eric Young's hilarious. So Dixie, after another Friends of AJ promo, where of course we're talking about AJ defending the championship in Japan, and showing even footage of that, Dixie pretty much gives AJ an ultimatum. He has a week to give back her intellectual property, i.e. the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. So, we get the funeral of Aces and Eights. Well, first off, you've got the casket. You have the Aces and Eights logos everywhere. In attendance, you have Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, Magnus, Eric Young, and Mike Tenay. And they're all sitting there. And of course, Mr. Anderson's nowhere to be found, because you'll see him in a minute. So when we start it, obviously the preacher basically says something like, "Dearly beloved, we've gathered here today to not announce a marriage, no, but announce the death of Aces and Eights." So we spot Magnus texting, and he seems to enjoy his text message. Joe is eating some sort of deli platter, and Eric Young is crying, and Mike Tenay just looks at him and is like, why are you crying? So Mr. Anderson comes out of the casket and basically says, I was trapped for over a year in this club. They've been responsible for many segments on the television program. Very true. So, want to thank Bully's former father-in-law and former wife for sending over a deli platter. And, of course, we're talking about Hogan and Brooke. That's the only way you can really do it. And he looks at him. He looks at Joe eating. He's like, it's pretty good, isn't it? He's like, yeah, it's pretty good. So, Angle basically said he had two friends in the group when he comes to say his piece. He says they were Wes Briscoe and D'Lo Brown. And he's like, you know D'Lo? You know the one that kind of bobs his head to the side? And even brings out the D'Lo bobblehead. So he shows the bobblehead, which is really funny. So Samoa Joe decides to bring some beer. And he said, we're going to just lay this to rest. And he's like, wait a minute, we shouldn't waste this beer. It's pretty cold. You guys should drink this. So he basically takes the beer he's going to put in the casket, and he gives one to everyone, which was really funny. They toast to the Aces and Eights. May you ride your mopeds to the shores of Valhalla. Mike Tenay says Taz will still be with him at broadcasting, of course. But fortunately, he can lay to rest the stinky cut that Taz has worn for 18 months. And I don't know how it got to the announce table, but Brooks' booty shorts are going to go there as well. But he pulls a Mean Gene and he pockets them, which made me laugh. And Eric Young shows the turkey suit and basically puts it in. And of course, he tries to take it out, yelling, "Turkey, turkey!" Joe and Mike Tenay stop him, calm him down. Mr. Anderson grabs the hammer and he's like, I'm going to pick this hammer, but you know what? This is a pretty good hammer. I'm going to keep it. It's a perfectly good hammer. So Bully Ray shows up, and he basically tells Mr. Anderson to sleep with one eye open. It's in the best interest of yourself, and not only the best interest of your wife. Death, in Bully Ray's eyes, is the final awakening. So we are continuing the Bully Ray Mr. Anderson feud throughout 2014. Don't have a problem with this. These two actually have some really good intensity in their matches. Very enjoyable match they had on Impact, even though I really didn't like the finish as much as it could have been because it was way too anticlimactic. Now, a lot of people on the internet that I was reading say that they didn't really like this segment. Sometimes comedy works. I think this actually worked really well. This is actually pretty funny, honestly. I like the this funeral of the Aces and Eights, and saying a lot of things that obviously people on the internet have been saying for quite a while. The Aces and Eights was played out and they needed to die anyway, so they pretty much gave him a funeral. And now we won't hear about Aces and Eights for a long time. And Bully Ray and Mr. Anderson are going to have one hell of a feud, and it's going to be pretty good. So we get our main event. And our main event is the 4-on-4 elimination tag match. Bobby Roode's team of Ego, which of course is himself, Christopher Daniels, and Frankie Kazarian, teaming up with the X Division champion Chris Sabin, taking on Kurt Angle's team of himself, Cowboy James Storm and Gunner, as well as Magnus. Of course, he'll face in the Last Man Standing match next week on Impact. So, long day. Sabin's in some trouble. Sabin gets nailed with the closing time, and Storm readies up for the last call, and Kaz gets in the ring, and he eats the last call, and this allows for Sabin to roll up Storm from behind, 1, 2, 3, and James Storm's eliminated. So, we go midway through the match again, and we have Gunner in the ring with Kaz. Gunner puts Kaz in the gun rack, and of course, Daniels clips his leg out from under him. They hit the high-low and eliminate Gunner. So, Magnus takes over on Daniels, and Magnus does a clothesline off the ring apron onto Daniels. He tweaks his knee, and he's taken out of the match. So, he's gone. So, we come back to live action from the commercial break, and Sabin slams Kurt Angle and drops a leg. And then Daniels drops the leg, and then Kaz drops the springboard 180 leg drop. And then Sabin, after all of that, makes a cover on Angle, 1-2, and a kick out. So it's basically Kurt Angle versus the world at this point. Tagging to Daniels, long day. Angle catches him with an inside cradle, but there's no referee because he's distracted, and still a 2 count. Makes a cover 1-2 and a kick-out tag into Kaz. They hit high-low on Kurt Angle, tagging to Bobby Roode. He wants to finish him off, going for the Spicoli driver. And Angle slides off, knocks most members of Bad Influence off the ring apron, and 2 clotheslines, whip in reverse, big forearm off the ropes by Angle. Charges in, and Bobby Roode gets the boot up, and gets caught with an overhead release belly-to-belly suplex. So Sabin comes in, he gets caught with an overhead release belly-to-belly suplex. Then he clotheslines Sabin over the top rope to the floor and locks Bobby Roode and nails the rolling German suplex. And ducks Daniels' clothesline and nails him with a rolling German suplex. He ducks Kaz's clothesline, nails him with a rolling German suplex. And not to be outdone, Daniels gets held by Kaz to try to stop the momentum. He's grabbing onto the ropes, he's holding on to him to try to prevent the German suplex from happening. The referee kicks the ropes, and this allows for Angle to German suplex Bad Influence at the same time, which looked awesome. So they clothesline Chris Sabin, and then the Angle slam, and then Kaz gets taken down, locked in the ankle lock, and of course he stops. He ties up both ankles of Bad Influence and locks in a double ankle lock on Daniels and Kazarian. So Bobby swings his chair, Angle ducks it, and Angle slam on Roode. He grabs the chair right in front of the referee and nails Bobby Roode in the back with it. So he nails a rib shot on Chris Sabin, and then he hits him in the back, and then he hits Daniels for good measure, and then he hits Bobby Roode again. Of course, the DQ has been given already, and this match is now thrown out. Okay. Could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot better, too. It was okay. It was a decent match for Impact. Good main event. Good television main event. All these 4 superstars can definitely go, so I would like to have seen more wrestling in this match. I understand why Angle got himself disqualified, because obviously we're playing up the fact that Angle and Roode absolutely despise each other, and this is also adding more fuel to the fire that Bobby Roode can now claim that he's beaten Kurt Angle on 3 separate occasions instead of just 2. So, you had to do something like this. But a DQ and a Survivor Series match, I don't know. I don't know if I really like that very much. So, of course, because they won, the heels and Velvet Sky, because Velvet Sky, of course, is dating Chris Sabin, so she comes to ringside. She's the only face that's out. The heels come out because they all won tonight. So, Thanksgiving went to the heels. That's how it works. So it's the Bad Influence, it's Bobby Roode, it's Chris Sabin, it's Gail Kim, it's Lady Tapa, it's the Bromans, and Zema Ion. So they all get in the ring for, of course, Winner Winner Turkey Dinner, which, of course, Dixie puts Rockstar Spud in charge. You know this won't end well. And, of course, it doesn't. Rockstar Spud is hosting this. So Bobby Roode says that this is for winners only, so tells Velvet to hightail it out there. And Sabin's like, you know what? You are totally right. And hit the brakes, and he says, don't worry, I'll bring you a doggy bag. As a group, we want to thank Dixie Carter for our careers in Impact Wrestling. This is Bobby Roode talking, obviously. Kaz is thankful for spinning it with Ego, of course. Gail Kim, thankful for Lady Tapa and being a dominant Knockouts champion. Chris Sabin is thankful for his perfect hair, being the X Division champion and the best X Division champion of all time, and of course, Velvet Sky. The Bromans, well, Jesse speaks first and says he's thankful for Phil Heath, and of course Zema Ion now joining the group, and Robbie E says he's thankful for not wearing the turkey suit and for being dominant World Tag Team Champions. I don't know why that didn't tick off the Bad Influence, but I guess this was all about unity involved in the heel locker room at Impact. Bobby Roode is thankful for the real Thanksgiving that was last month in Canada, obviously. He's thankful for being the it factor of professional wrestling and beating Kurt Angle 3 times, just like I said he was going to. So, Angle's music hits and he comes out and he basically says, I see a ring not full of winners but full of turkeys. It's too bad you won't get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So Angle basically says if it was us one-on-one, Bobby, I'd kick your ass. But you're not alone, so I'm not going to be alone either. So, James Storm, Gunner, Velvet Sky, ODB, North Furnham, and Dewey Barnes, along with Eric Young, hit the ring. And there's a huge cluster, and Velvet hits the pumpkin pie on Gail's face, and ODB chair shots Lady Tapa, and on top of that, you have EY with a turkey shot on Kaz, and then one on Daniels, and then they double slam the bromans, and Norv on one buckle, Dewey on the other, stereo splashes off the top rope, and flying turkeys, and everybody chugs beer, and that's the end of Impact for Thanksgiving. Okay. Sometimes comedy works. Could have been a lot better, could have been a lot worse. I've seen a lot worse in Impact, trust me. There's nothing that's going to turn me completely against the company. Nothing is complete. To me, I don't have anything that I'm really, like, absolutely despising having to watch. Like, I like what they're doing with Joseph Park and Abyss and Bad Influence. I don't mind that, actually, I don't. I don't mind what they're doing with Dewey Barnes and North Furnham. I don't mind what they're doing with Ethan Carter III. I still wish they'd get some more competition. I don't mind the fact that Magnus is going to win the tournament and he's going to be facing off against AJ Styles. I don't mind that either. When the fact that Dixie reveals that Magnus is her hand-picked corporate champion. That will happen soon. And there's just a lot of things on Impact that you can complain about, but you know, I mean, it's okay. It's okay for what it is. I mean, I enjoyed Impact this week. Like I said, sometimes it's just fun. It's not necessarily a show that's really serious. It's just a show that was, honestly, I just had fun watching it. It doesn't happen very often. That being said, TNA fans, I will join you again on December 19th, and we'll be talking TNA Impact. So, in the meantime, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, help us get to 20,000 views before 2013 is over. If you want to get a hold of me on any social media, I got 4 ways to do it. Numero uno, if you want to tweet me, you can. It's at Sir Owen Disney. If you want to pop on Facebook, it is Sir Owen Disney. Pop, one word, on Facebook. If you want to go ahead and be my friend on Facebook, be my guest. It's Owen Disney, very simple to find. And finally, and last but not least, if you want to send your thoughts, comments, queries, and opinions to my email, go right ahead, SirOwenDisney@gmail.com. So, in the meantime, thank you guys and girls out there for watching. Wrestling fans, you will join us again on Monday for NXT and SmackDown, and Tuesday for Raw. Tuesday night, of course, will be my final video before I go home on Wednesday. And starting Wednesday, constant videos. From the Columbus airport all the way to Disney, to Universal, to SeaWorld, to all points in between, and constant content here on Pop. So thank you guys and girls out there for watching, and until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.